All right, this is Patrick Rogers, and today we have the privilege to have Anthony D'Angelo on the show. And Anthony is the CEO of Solar Medix. Welcome to the show, Anthony.
Pleasure to be here, Pat. Thanks for having me.
You bet, man. So a little bit about Anthony. He lives in Toms River, New Jersey with his wife, Katina, and they just got married in September of last year. So still in their first newlywed year. Anthony spent the majority of his career in installations, service, and quality assurance in the solar industry. In 2017, he had an opportunity to take over a company called Solar Medix. And at the time, it was actually at a net negative. And within 1 year, turned it around to over $1 million in gross sales. So again, Anthony, awesome to have you on the show. Can't wait to dig into your journey with Solar Medix and turning this around and everything there. But before we get to that, what's one interesting fact that not many people know about you, man?
Interesting fact. So I would say that I enjoy baking. However, I've been taking a lot of treats into the office, so the mass majority of the company knows that. But I would say a lot of people don't know that I was a big gamer. About a decade back, big into MMORPGs like World of Warcraft. Really geeky, nerdy stuff. Consumed a big portion of my life. Was a good time, but had to give that up. It's very time consuming.
It is, man. My son's big into it. He's 22 now. He's been playing it for 10 years now. He's in college playing it like crazy.
Yeah, before you know it, you got 5-6 hours logged a day, and you're like, where did the day go? So you had to give that up, especially when you get to business, right?
Yeah, if you got your business, there's no time for that. Cool, man. So tell us about Solar Medix. This I can't wait to dig into the story and just well, first of all, what do you guys do? Tell us about Solar Medix, the company.
Right. So Solar Medix is a premier service only entity for residential and commercial solar assets. So anything post installation, our company handles. Right. So that could be a slew of different services. Sometimes it's preventative maintenance to disallow the underproduction or communication issues that surface and arise with existing solar systems. The common misconception is that solar is maintenance free, and that's due in part to a lot of the salesmen, right? It's a very common sales tactic for someone to say, oh, it's free of maintenance, you have to do nothing. But we all know anything mechanical, anything electrical definitely needs maintenance, right? Even our fair fleet of electric cars that are coming out into the market, they're still going to require maintenance, maybe less so than an engine-based vehicle, but still require maintenance. So we come in, any kind of repairs or replacements that are necessary, we take care of. We contact the manufacturer for you. We create what's called an RMA. And then, of course, maintaining the larger commercial assets is something that we're really interested in and heavily involved in, because at the end of the day, these assets generate revenue for these consumers, clients, and customers. And, we're here to make sure that stays.
That's awesome. So you guys only do post installation. What was the key deciding factor that made you decide, hey, we're not going to do installations, or we're just going to do the maintenance and service after?
Yeah, so it's a good question. We just saw an opportunity in the market for one. But to be honest, it's really about being on the other side of the coin. Sales has a negative connotation to it. Being predatory or transactional. I'm personally more of a transformational person as far as relationships are concerned. So I want to be on the other end of that. I want to foster these relationships, and I want to help those people that I knew just didn't have anyone to rely on, because these companies were building these, it's becoming gigantic in a short period of time. And you know what happens when that happens? There only could be so many big fish in the sea. Eventually, they just shore themselves, and there's unfortunately, a lot of lost jobs and a lot of lost opportunity and a lot of customers without anybody to rely on. So figured we'd be those guys. Why not be those people?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, and I was curious if this had anything to do with it, but when you look at like the value of a company, when you look to sell someday, right? A company that has maintenance contracts and service in place where they don't have to sell, routinely those installations and rely on that money, it's worth, I mean, I think for every, what do they say? It's for every dollar of recurring revenue you have versus a dollar of none, it's like worth $1.77 more. It's 77% more when you go to sell. It's just worth more. I'm just curious if that had any decision in what you're
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
I
to.
as I developed the business and learned a little bit more about business
Yeah.
in general, that
Yeah.
was a driving factor to really
Yeah.
really increase. Because yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100%. Once you dive into the books and start understanding exit strategies and whatnot, then you really start to understand that yeah, a transactional business like a solar sales company is going to get maybe a 1x EBITDA, whereas far as a service company, you're looking at 3 to 6x EBITDA. So yeah, your exit's a lot more lucrative, and there's a lot more value
Cool.
in
Yeah.
sustainable customer base.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. So you guys are now, you said you're now approaching almost 2 million. You've got 15 employees. Walk us through how you did this, man. How you took a company that was losing money and turned it around.
Yeah, well, kind of what I said before about being transactional. I've never been transactional in my life.
Uh-huh.
I like to offer people that I do business with, regardless of what company I'm working for, everything that I have to offer as a person. And I've built these relationships over the years and have been reached out to, offered many, many jobs, and just kept in contact with the people that I know were good people. And those people that happen to be in the industry, as soon as the opportunity presented itself to join in on Solar Medix, just reached out to all the big players that I knew and told them what I'm doing, and they supported me. From there, it was just easy. It's just fishing with a big net, right? Just grab up the largest groups and companies and banks that you could do business with, that you may have already existing relationship with, and build off those relationships, and then gradually shrink that net more and more to grab smaller and smaller fish until you have a good portion of the solar service requirements in the area you're working in.
Yeah, gotcha. So you're very foundational at developing these relationships. What kind of sales strategies, or what kind of systems did you use to be able to do this? Were you just out there just knocking on doors to get these sales, or did you hire a sales team? I mean, what'd you do?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about what we do is we do a lot with, we'll call it the banking system of solar finance. And those require maintenance due to contractual obligations. So we maintain those contracts. And as far as a marketing perspective goes, what we really focused on was just brand awareness. Just letting people know that we're here and we're here for you. And to be honest, they came and found us.
Wow. In 1 year, just focusing on brand awareness, you guys were able to generate $1 million. That seems unheard of. That just almost doesn't even click to me, because everything that I know from like a service side of business is that like brand awareness, when you're small and you're up and coming, it's kind of like Pepsi, right? And they're spending all this money on brand awareness, whereas smaller companies, in my experience, they have to do that direct response outreach, like directly outreaching, whatever, Google ads or phone calls or whatever it is, direct mailers. What kind of things did you guys focus on in brand awareness, man?
Essentially, what I said earlier is the simple fact that we're just here for you, right? Because the unfortunate relationship with solar and consumers is that it's predatorial and they have nobody to rely on. So just a simple fact to say, hey, we're the good guys. We're going to make sure that whatever anybody else did in the past to do you wrong, we're going to right it. This is how. And we really just put the customer first. We live by our word. That was our brand. we're customer-centric business. And that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on making the customer happy, because we know that they've been through some, trials and tribulations with their past experience. So just being there, the word spread. We put a lot of time, effort, and capital into our brand, and marketing that. And honestly, yeah, it just came to us, Pat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to relate like the tangibles, like how you did that though. Like, if I put myself in your shoes, I got this company that's sinking, right? And it's one thing to say, hey, we're the good guys, but how do you do that though? Did you call the customers that you currently had and like just have a conversation with them? How did you express these thoughts and feelings that you're telling me about? Like, hey, we're the good guys. It's a predatory industry. We get that. We're not that. Like, what did you actually do, like tangibly? You know what I mean?
Yeah, really good question. So we put a lot of effort into just first. I mean, if I was bringing it back to the very beginning and I was having a conversation about how to do this, I would say put a lot of your effort into search engine optimization, right? SEO is first for us. Then from there, we built a strong base on Facebook and Instagram, and we just conveyed our message as much as we possibly could. And then every single time that we spoke to a customer, we spoke to them as if they were, saving our company from floundering the next day. And, we just continued that. We made sure that our conversations were highly, highly educational on a level that they've never experienced before. They felt involved in everything. And, word spreads really quickly, especially, because one person who sold to another person, they referred this person, they got $500, they saw an opportunity to make some money. Before you know it, they have 25 people that actually hate them because they have no recourse to deal with their contract and keep their system going. So people know people.
Well, yeah. So you did a couple of things there, it sounds like. So you created this message and you really got it out through Facebook. Did you guys already have a following on Facebook, following of clients and customers and such?
Yeah, we had a small following. We're up to a few thousand at this point, and we just continue to build it. Just continue to build the awareness. Just letting people know that we're here is really the first step. Yeah.
Absolutely. Letting them know you're there, but then you're also following it up with the good guy message, and you're also being very educational. So it sounds like you're delivering them value. It's not just, hey, we're trying to sell. You're giving them a lot of value, and it sounds like you're earning trust because of that. Trust and rapport. They're like, okay, I trust that these guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah, one of our core values is educate. So, it's in the top echelon of what we consider of importance to us. So, we, as a company, we cross-train every single individual that comes through the door. And that's so that they could communicate with the end customer, the same exact way through and through, so that the message and culture and our general morale shines through.
So every employee in the company basically gets trained on every position. Is that what you mean by cross-training?
Every position, the software we use both in the field and in the office, as well as just having general conversations with the technicians in the field, right? Making sure that everything is translucent to a point where, there's nothing hidden. We go as far as sometimes to share financials with the team, just to let them know, like, this is what's going on. This is what we're going to use the money for, almost acting as if we're a public company. And that, that transparency, I think, also allows for additional cultural buy-in, which is very important.
I can't agree more. Companies that are not sharing their financial information are really missing out on an opportunity to help their employees understand what's going on in the business and help them understand the decisions you're making. Because they think, there was some stat, and I bring this up a lot, but if you don't share with your employees the transparency, they think you're walking home. It's somewhere between 50 to 60% of whatever your company grosses. They think you got in your back pocket, right? I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
It is.
And so when you open the books and you are transparent with them, they appreciate it, and they can really start to think, feel, and act like an owner, right? Sounds like you've experienced that.
That's exactly right. Because that's how I treat all my people, right? I say to myself, how do I wish that I was treated when I was an employee? You know, I wish, you know, I'm kind of a data nerd. I'm a numbers guy. So, you know, I would have appreciated to see how well we're doing on a marginal basis, just to understand the business a little bit more. So, you know, as soon as we started this, I started sharing as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And then when you have to make the hard decisions some year to invest in something, and then your bonuses aren't going to be as much as they understand it, they get it, right? Because they know it's in for the long term of the company. Fantastic, man. So are you doing, that's what I was going to ask you. Something you had said before, that you kind of cross-trained every employee, and you said that you get the technicians trained up. Are you actually working with the technicians on the scripting of what to say to get your message out as well?
Yeah, well, a lot of what we do, so back to, you know, how did we gain so much traction is we as a team talk about how do we get more reviews. So we have a strategy for getting more reviews, and that is a topic of conversation that often that often we have about speak about in meetings and whatnot. Yeah. It's, you know, how do we ask for it? How do you ask for the yes? How do you ask for the review? And of course, we compensate our team. Anytime they get a review, they get a nice Amazon gift card, and you know that's unlimited.
Perfect,
so they can
man.
really stack up on some Amazon, and hopefully for the holidays, you know, they could buy their significant other or whatever have you, some you know, gifts off Amazon. So yeah, we do have those conversations about, you know, how do we educate the customer? How do we get the review? And honestly, you know, if you happen to look at our reviews, a lot of them is, oh, the technician was highly educational. You know, they sat there and explained everything to me. So yeah, that's us having a conversation with the team saying, this is what we need to do in order to excel here.
Yeah, man, I think that's fantastic. In fact, just real quick, I had a client of mine who was an HVAC guy, and he couldn't understand why all his competitors had all these good reviews. I'm like, well, dude, what do you do when you go to the house? He's like, whoa, he's this gruff old dude, man. He's like, well, I go to the house and I fix their thing. I'm like, do you talk to him at all? Do you ask like how their day is going, or you know, in their house? That's, you know, a cool picture. You know, they got this big fish on the wall. Do you ever ask them about that? Or, you know, no. Do you ever explain to them what you're doing as you're doing it? No. Like, oh my goodness.
Well, there's your answer, bud. Transactional, not transformational, right?
That's right.
Right there. It's right in the sauce.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's awesome that you really focus on that, because that's really what people remember, right?
They do.
Anybody can come and do maintenance on solar, but what they remember is the experience. And you guys have honed in on that. You're going out of your way. I mean, and it's kind of a unicorn thing. I mean, companies just don't really focus on that. And I just really want to bring light to what you're doing. And I know that's a major part of why you guys have been able to turn this around. And then the Amazon gift card thing. Heck yes, man. 25, $50 each review, something like that.
Yeah, we used to do 20. We dropped it down to 15, but we're actually going to probably move it back up to like 25 this year. So yeah, we just continue to hand those out anytime they get a mention in a comment.
They're going to hold you to it now that it's live. Now that it's,
I hope so.
It's in public
I hope
domain.
So. We could use some more. We only got a couple hundred at this point. We're shooting for the stars.
How many do you have compared to your competitors? Do you have more or less?
Much more. Even our largest competitor, which is Sun System Technology. I mean, they're in the 3-star range. You know, we're 5-star across the board. Every outlet you find.
Yeah.
Yelp, Facebook.
So you guys just
Google.
Automatically get the business. When someone goes to Google, you're going to get the business, period, end of story, right? I mean, 5 stars, 300.
Honestly, it makes that much of a difference having the 5 stars.
Absolutely.
I just actually had a conversation with a customer that you bring it up, and they said, hey, your competitor is $800 cheaper. And I said, you know, I'm sorry, you know, we don't move on price because we know we installed the highest quality to the highest quality standard, bar none. You know, we use the best equipment, and we really, again, we educate our team, and our team then educates the customer. So they actually, after 3 phone calls. She calls me back. She's like, I don't care about the $800. I want to use you guys, for this, that, and the other. But one of the reasons was for the reviews. You guys just have stellar reviews. So no one has anything bad to say about you. So thanks, Google Review. You earned us the sale there.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Cool. And you had said in our pre-call that the actual story of how you ended up coming on with this company was actually a pretty good one. It was actually your friend that owned the company, right? At the time?
Yeah. My friend, still my business partner to this day.
Nice.
However, at the time, he started the company and he had a partner. His name was Chris, and they just couldn't generate any business. I mean, $0. And they had a vehicle, they had insurance, they had the whole nine.
Right.
Big aspirations, of course, and couldn't do anything. Expenses. So him and I, the expenses were piling up, right? It's like, how long can you really float this?
Right.
So him and I were going to the gym together. He had asked for some advice. I was giving it to him. He's a friend, right? So I gave it to him for free and said, this is what you do. And, didn't really follow the advice to the T, and it left him with another bunch of lost projects. And he said, hey, do you want to join up? And I said, hey, I'll turn that company into $1 million company. And he laughed, and I said, okay, we'll see. Granted, I'm just a confident person. I'd never done it before, but I was pretty certain. I've read a lot of books. I got this. Yeah, I can do it. We'll see. So from there, he actually was on the way to Greece with his family. So I said, by the time you get back, we're going to have work. You better put your boots on. She said, okay, sure. Before he got to the airport, I gave him a call. I said, get ready to work when you come back. We have work for at least 2 weeks. From that day, we haven't stopped working a single day, not a single light day since then.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
6 years ago.
Congrats on that. So what's next for you guys? You're at 1.7 now. What are some of your next milestones, and how are you going to get there?
Well, we just, 3 years ago, we opened up New York. This year, we just opened up Texas about 3 weeks ago. So,
oh wow, that's exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. It's a lucrative market. It's a fun market. It's massive, and it's gonna test us. It's gonna test us for sure. But down the road, we're looking to be a national provider. We have a lot of interest from other, institutions that want to get involved. We're not there just yet, but we're considering our options, and we're looking to expand nationally. So looking to provide the same level of service. And one thing that I won't sacrifice is our customer service. So got to figure out how we're going to get there.
Awesome, man. Very cool. So, hey, if you were going to hire a CEO to take over the reins for your company, what's the one book that you would require that he or she read, and why?
So the one book, it's a lot of good ones, right? But I would say if I had to choose one, it would be The Dichotomy of Leadership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, I think is the other author.
I love Jocko, man.
Jocko's great. Extreme Ownership is
Extreme
great.
Ownership, dude. That was an amazing book.
Such a good book. This is like the follow-up to that book. Right. I just enjoyed it a little bit more personally. It was easier to relate to what we do as far as strategies and leadership and whatnot.
What was your biggest takeaway that you can share with the listeners, if you remember?
From the book?
Yeah.
Utilize decentralized command. So essentially,
break that down. Yeah.
Don't take the whole world on your shoulders, right? You can give others the power of leadership, and you don't have to be afraid of that, right? If you feel that they're a good leader, you should let them lead, and if they need to fail, then let them fail.
There it is, man. Yeah, love it. Very cool. Well, hey, awesome having you on the show, Anthony. I want to take a few minutes and just summarize some of my key takeaways from today. So one is, which I don't want to say I'm flabbergasted, I'm impressed by, man, is that you guys didn't really rely on direct response. And that's to really grow that fast. You took a company from losing money to $1 million through brand awareness, through search engine optimization, getting your message correct, getting your team trained on how we talk with the clients, educating the clients, and having them really be intentional about getting reviews. And that really has turned around your online presence. And that is absolutely phenomenal. The other thing I thought was great was that you share the financials with the team. You open the books and you really have that culture of transparency. And that really helps them understand what's going on in the business and feel like a partner, feel like an owner. And they can act like an owner as well. And then again, the strategy for getting reviews, if you have a service company out there and you have people going out door to door, like another thing, the Amazon gift cards, I was going to say, is amazing. Another thing I used to have all my clients do is get door knockers. And so for every door they go to, they put a door knocker on 10 of the doors and 10 of the neighbors nearby. So just other ideas that are out there. Hey, Anthony, what would be your, if there was one takeaway that you'd really want the audience to get from today, what would that be?
I would say it would have to be transformational over transactional every single time. Build rapport, build relationships, and those relationships will foster and bloom into something that you didn't believe was possible.
Yeah. Love that, man. Thanks for sharing. That's a great takeaway. So if any of our listeners want to reach out and get a hold of you for Solar Medix, for perhaps services, or perhaps somebody wants to expand with you, or questions from today's podcast, how could they do that, man?
Yeah, sure. Solarmedix.com. If you're interested in the services or have questions about the services, we can be found on Instagram at solar_medix. And then you can find me on LinkedIn under Anthony D'Angelo. That's D'_ANGELO.
There it is. Awesome. And we'll have your LinkedIn link in the podcast page as well. So
awesome.
Great, Anthony. Again, thank you for being on the show, sir. It's great to have you. You shared a ton of great stuff, man.
I appreciate it, Pat. It was honored to be here. Yeah. Really appreciate the time.
You bet. And for the listeners out there, please hit the like and subscribe button and help us spread the word about what we're doing. We're helping the next generation of CEOs and leaders be that much more successful in their business. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.